Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss has been busy on the recruiting trail with 2 commitments.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Brian Smith, in for Stephen Willis. Thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen each and every day, free and available on YouTube and anywhere you download your pods. On the go, to the gym, going to the grocery store, anywhere else, you can listen to Locked On Ole Miss wherever you would like. And today's show is going to be a fun one. We've got basketball commitments in the portal to talk about. We've got the LSU game, which is a revenge game to talk about in football. We're going to be starting a series on that. And to begin the show, yes, indeed, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss has been very, very busy with recruiting. But today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So the 2 commitments are players that I've actually had a chance to be around. One I know pretty well. That one is Isaiah Williams. This is a young man that is from Tavares High School, just a little bit northwest of Orlando, recruited by every school pretty much in the country. National recruit. Ironically, I'm pretty sure he'll end up on the edge, although for whatever it's worth, Bill Belichick likes him at strong safety. That's interesting. But On3 has him listed as not just a linebacker, but the number 1 rated linebacker in the country. So everybody has an opinion about where Isaiah is going to play. I'm just going to give you my own opinion, and from those that get a chance to train him. He's about 6'2", 215, and can run like a deer. He's a 4'6", give or take. At his age, that's pretty impressive, but most importantly, he plays downhill. This is a guy that needs to see ball, kill ball. I don't want him playing inside linebacker at all and making quote-unquote reads. Defensive end, edge, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is on that play, because Ole Miss runs some different games and stuff up front with what their front's going to be, whether 3-man, 4-man, outside linebacker, etc. Most schools do. Bottom line, Isaiah Williams needs to be going forward on each play, not in a back pedal. Beginning and end of conversation. And for a kid like him, who's as gracious as he is, really nice guy, it's pretty simple. He's just naturally aggressive. It's ironic because his personality is so chill. But Isaiah Williams is a national recruit for a reason. He has the skill to get downhill and make plays. He did it as a junior in high school. He's done it in the 5-on-5 circuit. I've seen him go one-on-ones with some big-time players. He just has a skill set you can't teach. Most importantly, even though he's about 6'2", Isaiah Williams has the length that would make him probably 6'4", 6'5", just based on my own eye test. And Isaiah knows how to use it because he can bend around the edge, get underneath the hands of an offensive tackle, right or left, and make a play over and over and over again. He's the guy that even though you probably know what he's going to do, he's athletic enough and determined enough to make it happen regardless of what your plan of attack to thwart that is. Isaiah Williams is also a kid that is easygoing enough that any kind of coach probably going to work out for him. Pete Golding has got a really, really talented player now committed to the Rebels, and I'm curious to see how they use him because they've got that stand-up edge kind of spot that Perkins plays sometimes and other players as well. Obviously, Ole Miss has recruited up front really, really good the last couple of years, and that's going to pay off. But this is a kid I don't think you're going to keep off the field very long. Here are a couple of things I wrote down, just kind of going over notes about him, going back through my head, some of his film, and just talking to him. Number 1, again, plays forward. He is not, in my opinion, an inside linebacker, although some might think so. Number 2, speed, athleticism, change of direction, stop and start, all of that. Isaiah Williams is the kind of kid that would have fit in, just for those that are more my age, early 50s, he would have fit in at Florida State circa 1995 to 2000. Elite pass rusher, Peter Boulware kind of guy, athletic as all get out. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have the same kind of career as Peter Boulware, but physically he has very unique tools. I also like the fact for Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, man, his staff has prioritized the state of Florida, and he was committed to the University of Florida, by the way. Now the Gators are down to one commit. That's kind of surprising. But he's also a guy that wasn't just like some 3-star kid they took from a random high school like in the sticks. He lives not that far from Orlando. He was committed to the Gators, and he's a national recruit. I've said many times for Ole Miss to consistently climb the ladder as a major SEC football program, there was no shortcut. You have to be able to land elite recruits that the elite programs, the ones that are the blue bloods, the one that it's constantly easier to get the players than anywhere else, Florida's a top 5 job in the country. Now, Billy Napier has screwed it up. That's pretty obvious, but he's a pretty good recruiter. And by all accounts, he's a good guy. So flipping him, Isaiah Williams, yes, that matters. Also, this is a player that if I'm just going to assume they're going to use him as a pass rusher. And I know they got Perkins now for his junior year. He'll probably leave after this year, barring something unforeseen. If that's the case, is there a path of playing time for Isaiah as a freshman? Potentially. But let me be very clear. Front 7 defenders going against the run is the key. Most can't handle it, and he's not going to play against a double team or anything like that on 1st and 10 in the SEC. He's not ready for that. I think he'll play a little bit as a freshman, but probably redshirt. And as a redshirt freshman after a year in the weight room, be a totally different player, be 230, 235. And Isaiah Williams will be a beast. That's my projection. Year 2, so 2027, far more likely for Isaiah to make it into the rotation. Not saying he can't play some, not saying he won't play at all, and he will definitely play special teams. He's a guy that see ball, kill ball, like balls kicked off, punt, kickoff, whatever, he's all about it. So that's a way he'll get on the field, but I would not be surprised if Kiffin, Pete Golding, and the rest of the Ole Miss staff said, you know what? Let's let him slowly matriculate into the lineup. And if he plays more than 4 games, because a lot of kids don't like coming back for a 5th year, I get it, but he just needs to add the weight. So I think they will use him judiciously, and I think they will also use him in a way that he's going to be on the field when it's passing situations, if it's not special teams. Just my opinion on that. One final comment on him. He is the kind of guy that everybody's going to gravitate to. Just nice guy. He will fit into Ole Miss's locker room. He's a Florida kid, but he's not like a lot of the Florida kids, like South Florida kids. He's not real edgy, just A to B. Isaiah Williams will fit in very well, quite honestly, in Oxford, and it doesn't surprise me that he changed his commitment after visiting there. He'd also visited North Carolina after his commitment to Florida, so it's kind of interesting. Lane Kiffin beats out, of all people, Bill Belichick for a defensive recruit, because Bill wanted it. Flat out, Bill wanted it. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Dearius Yates, an in-state recruit that I'm ecstatic about in terms of his upside to make it all the way to the NFL. Now, I didn't think he was any place near ready to make a college decision, but I was wrong. He is committed to the Rebels, and we're going to talk about him next here on Locked on Ole Miss. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. If you are not already excited about Dearius Yates, you should be. 5'9.5", about 185 pounds, and a human lightning bolt. He is absolutely, unequivocally the perfect player to be in the backfield for a Lane Kiffin-led offense. Change of direction, speed, first step explosiveness, power when he wants it, because he will pack a punch. And oh yes, Dearius Yates is an excellent, not a good, an excellent receiver out of the backfield. I had the opportunity to see him play live at the Under Armour New Orleans camp. No doubt about it. There were several D1 guys there that could play SEC or at least G5. Wasn't even close. By far the best running back there. And again, there were some good players there. New Orleans area, Mississippi kids, a few Texas kids, etc. Elite talent. Dearius Yates was by far the best one there. He was so good in the passing drills. Keep in mind, this is a camp. They're not banging. They're not using pads. In the passing drills, I said he could play slot. No doubt about it. Like the way he sets up his moves, switches them up from rep to rep. Dearius Yates has a little bit of intelligence on just making guys look bad. Not just winning a rep, but like making them look bad. Smart kid overall, but like his savviness, that's probably a better way to put it. His savviness was awesome. Linebackers don't have much of a chance in one-on-ones in that anyway, but there were some plays he was open by more than 5 yards. And he made them look bad over and over again. And this is, again, these are Louisiana kids. It's one of the best states in the country for high school football. Mississippi players and stuff there too. But Dearius Yates was one of the better players at the event, and there's no doubt about it. Now, Ole Miss is not, in my opinion, this could change, but they are not loaded at running back right now. They've just got a lot of candidates, got a lot of talent. But if somebody does not emerge that's an underclassman right now in the 2025 season, do not be surprised at all if Dearius Yates comes in and gains major minutes next season. He's that talented. He's a national recruit. I think he's one of the top 5 or 6 running backs in the country. And he's a kid that's got some pride. I mean, he is from Mississippi. He plays at Kemper County High School, DeKalb, Mississippi. He's not going to miss a beat. When he committed, talking about some of the reasons he did, he understood the fit within Lane Kiffin's offense. Okay, you're 100% right. That was also intelligent. But more importantly, you could just tell he felt comfortable there. Ole Miss, like any other school, in-state or out-of-state, when you win recruitments, it's based on relationships. He felt comfortable with the Ole Miss staff. Everybody on the staff, running back coach, offensive coordinator, everybody has to be a part of it. But he was comfortable in Oxford. So that's probably the reason I'm going to make this next statement. Bama really wants him, Florida State, and a whole bunch of other schools. This early juncture, it's rare to say this nowadays, but I will be surprised. Not out of the question, but I will be surprised if Dearius Yates does not end up at Ole Miss. We'll see how that goes. Now, switching over to the actual game of football, just want to talk a little bit about the LSU at Ole Miss game this fall. Going to do a little series on it, and I want to give the backdrop to it today. Over the next week, we'll talk about it 2 or 3 times. Offensive players, defensive players, situational football, rivalry. There's a million different things. LSU Ole Miss is usually a pretty darn good game, and I expect the same. They've each won at home the last couple of times they played. In this upcoming season, the game goes back up to Oxford. So let's be honest about last year's game. Ole Miss should have won. They laid an egg in that game. There were 2 or 3 plays, I don't have to get into all the details, but where they just didn't make it happen second half, maybe even more than that, where they had a chance to put a dagger in LSU, and they didn't. Ironically, and he was right, the Locked On LSU host, I was listening to their podcast, just trying to get some news about what's going on with recruiting and stuff, and he mentioned, he was right again, that LSU should have lost, Ole Miss should have won. And he put the blame on Kiffin. I don't know if I'd go quite that far. There was plenty of blame to go around. That's partially coach, partially player. But he said LSU shouldn't have won that game. I appreciate the honesty. Don't always get that from LSU people. That's a pretty hard fan base to get them to look at anything that's not purple and gold. So just my beginning list here as we break down this game. Number one is revenge. Now, you shot yourself in the foot, but you still lost. Revenge. It's not hard to get a team up to play LSU. I grasp that. But when the players come back, especially like Sunterian Perkins, just to use him as an easy example, that knew they gave up a chance to win in Baton Rouge, and that's an awfully hard place to win. They gave that up. Now they're coming back home. Can you imagine how razor sharp and ultra focused they're going to be for that game? You got to beat them this time. And LSU, I mean, they're doing a great job right now in the portal. They're adding some key pieces. That could be a top 5 to top 8 team. That the winner of this game could knock out the other one for making the playoff. It's possible. So here are some of my other points. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback. Some even think he could be a top 5 pick next year. I'm not buying that, but whatever. He is very talented. Threw for roughly 4,000 yards last year. He threw the ball away a little more than he should. He is a gunslinger. I like that to a certain degree. But the quarterback for the LSU Tigers is a guy that likes to chuck it deep. He's had a ton of talent receiver. They just got Nick Anderson. Talk about him here in a second. Transferred in from Oklahoma. He's originally from Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston. He's a big-time recruit. He's 6'4", 210. Remember that now. That size, I'm going to say it about 50 times between now and the beginning of the season as far as this game goes. 6'4", 210. That's a guy that Ole Miss is going to have to contend with and figure out if they're going to go after him, double him, they're going to shade. What are they going to do? That's going to be an interesting matchup. They're going to throw it up to him. They've got a couple other guys. They got the transfer Barron, I believe his name is, that came in from Kentucky that's a good player. And they have Chris Hilton and some other guys coming back from last season. And they have just a ton of speed on offense. Even by LSU standards, this is a team that is very, very scary. Now, they don't have the same chemistry because they got transfers, so I don't think it'll be quite as good. But by the time this game gets there, I believe it's week 5 or 6, it's probably not going to matter. If you played this in the first 2 to 3 weeks, it would be a much more advantageous situation, in my opinion, for Ole Miss because there wouldn't be as much film on Austin Simmons. You already know what you're getting out of Gus. And he's going to have a lot more time to work with his receivers in fall camp, during the weeks of practice, and during games. So expect to see LSU score some points. They have a great offense. Speaking of great offense, Caden Durham, the running back from Duncanville, Texas, he was a big-time recruit. They won that one over some big-time programs. 753 yards, 5.4, and 6 touchdowns last year. He's one of those guys, speaking of speed. Caden Durham's not the biggest guy. Matter of fact, he's pretty much Dearius Yates. If you want to look at what Yates is going to be, that's Caden Durham. Shot out of a cannon, make you miss, can catch the ball, and is just otherwise extremely annoying to try and tackle. I'm worried about him in the screen game, and I'm worried about him on just the most basic play, the draw play. Like if you are not disciplined in your rush lanes and you give him an extra little bit of space to break into the second level, I don't care if the linebacker sees it coming a million miles away, and I don't care if it's Perkins. Tackling Durham in space is not friendly. That guy is an X factor because, again, generic play, draw, generic play, toss sweep, generic play, swing pass. You still got to tackle him. Players like that are why coaches say it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. He will make the first guy miss more often than not. If he's got any space between himself and that defender, he's not fun at all. X factor player. Now let's come back to Nick Anderson. If you do not slow down Caden Durham without putting an extra guy in the box, this is where it gets complex. Without putting an extra guy in the box, it's going to be a long day for Ole Miss's defense. They got too many receivers. And then Nick Anderson deep threat down the field, big body guy, jump balls, all that. They've got other guys too. Again, you have to be able to defend a very unique tight end. Trey'Dez Green, 6'6", 6'7", 250 pounds, had 13 catches, just over 100 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. He's going to be the main guy now. That is a future NFL player. And there's really no way around it. He's pretty much going to get single covered every week because you can't leave. If you're going to double somebody, you're going to double one of the receivers, Nick Anderson or somebody else. He could be another X factor. Ole Miss's defense is going to have its hands full. The one edge that I see, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, and I applaud it in a way, LSU has some young talent on the offensive line, redshirt sophomores, redshirt freshmen, etc. There's a chance a couple of them are going to start. How are they going to be? Their first game, by the way, is Clemson in Death Valley, but not their own, the one in South Carolina with Howard Rock. So there'll be some film on that, and then they turn around and just a couple of weeks later, they play Florida, albeit at home. They play in Baton Rouge in Death Valley. So Ole Miss will have an idea of what they're going to do offensively because you're going to spill the beans in those two games. I would imagine that Ole Miss will be able to come up with a few things. Now, Ole Miss's offense is going to go through the same thing, and LSU will have a pretty good idea what Ole Miss is going to do, but I digress. The point is still the same. Maybe you can come up with something. Maybe. Just try and slow down the LSU offense if Nussmeier's on, etc. We'll see. But some way, somehow, they've got to be able to keep that extra defender out of the box and keep Durham to under 4 yards a carry. Now, they shut him down pretty well last year. Ole Miss did a great job. But that was as good a D-line as there was in college football last year. Walter Nolan's not walking back out on that field. Okay, he's going to be in the NFL for the next 10 years. He's earned it. And congrats to Walter for making it there, by the way. But Ole Miss still has some pretty good talent at defensive line, too. It's not like they got a bunch of scrubs up there. They've recruited really well, and they've got some guys they got in the portal as well. Not one or the other, both. I think Lane Kiffin knows that Pete Golding's now got a pretty good grasp of what he has. He understands what he wants to do. I expect their defense to be better, but it really comes down to mixing it up when they double Anderson, whether they try to hedge towards Green or Chris Hilton or whoever's in the lineup. They're going to have to mix it up because Nussmeier's going to throw for some yards, but they got to turn him over. And one last point, speaking of Nussmeier, it's one thing for him to make plays from the pocket. He's going to make some hike, fade ball, quick slant. There are plays in LSU's offense like any other spread. You can't get to the quarterback. But when you get pressure on him, A, if you've got him dead to rights, you got to drop him. And B, he's a pretty good athlete. He's not going to go out and get you a 30-yard run, unless there's just something really wrong. But you know that he's got the ability to scramble now, make a few guys miss. He'll hold on to the football a little too long, but you cannot allow Nussmeier to get outside the pocket and create big plays because they've got way too much speed as it is. Anything over 3 seconds, that's a rough pill. They have way too many skill guys. You must contain him in the pocket. If Garrett Nussmeier gets outside the pocket, he'll pick up a first down or two with his legs. But more concerning, he might heave one down the field and the band might be playing. The LSU band must keep him in the pocket. That's as simple as it gets, and I'm sure that's something that Pete Golden and the entire LSU defensive staff will talk about. When we come back, just a little bit on the basketball program, got some commitments from the portal. That is next here on Locked on Ole Miss. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Easy to get everything under one roof, including with your partner. You can manage your money smoother than ever with Monarch Money, and you can track all your shared accounts, set your goals, and do everything in one place with Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Got to give credit to Coach Beard and the basketball program. They had a nice season, and they went out and they also did something to make it even more unique. I never thought I would say this with any program, let alone Ole Miss. In-state player for Kentucky, set the all-time scoring record inside the state of Kentucky as a high school player. Over 5,000 points, by the way. That's insane. And he's transferring to Ole Miss after playing a lot for Kentucky. This is wild. Travis Perry, 6'2" guard. Again, over 5,000 points in high school. That's incredible, man. He was recruited by Ole Miss out of high school. And then he's decided after 1 year at Kentucky, he's going to come on down to play for Chris Beard. So here are the other guys that I've been able to pick up that they've gotten from the portal. They're going to be a pretty good team coming again this next season. Y.S. Carmadine, the guard from France. They got Corin Johnson, the guard from Louisville that's coming in. Augusto Cazia, the power forward from Butler. A.J. Storr, the wing forward from Kansas. He was a pretty highly recruited kid. And Corey Chess, power forward, ironically, from LSU. My question is, now that they've broken in, they're going to be the hunted now. Just about every SEC school is, because they were good. They made a run, won some NCAA tournament games. I have 4 questions for Ole Miss basketball fans. Number 1, are you more interested in Ole Miss basketball because of the overall season and the NCAA tournament? I think a lot of you were probably surprised by the consistency and how well they played as a team last year. And I thought they were pretty good. I didn't see them play a lot, but I saw them play a little bit. I'll give Ole Miss credit. They were a team that could beat anybody on a given day. Number 2, are you now more likely to go to home games for Ole Miss basketball, especially if you live like Memphis, Jackson, something like that, where it's feasible within a 4-hour radius, let's say, of Oxford, Mississippi? Number 3, overall, this past season was insane in the SEC. Do you enjoy SEC basketball, and are you more likely to watch it because of this past season? And finally, what's next for Ole Miss men's basketball? Is it going to take another step up? Do you expect it to go back? Something different? I'm curious what you think, because this is a really interesting year. They got the good transfers coming and all that, but you're going to have to piece it together. You've got all these different players. How's the chemistry going to be? If you can win again and get to the Sweet 16 again, you can not only bring in transfers, you can start getting high-level recruits. If Beard is able to do that, it changes Ole Miss basketball for the foreseeable future. Thank you once again for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in and allowing me to share some knowledge about recruiting, what I know about Ole Miss football as we wait on our guy Stephen Willis to get back. It's been a lot of fun for me, and I truly appreciate it. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the Ole Miss podcast, and make sure that you share this. Locked On Ole Miss, we can be found anywhere: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon Music, wherever you get your pods, at home or on the go. We're happy to assist. Thank you once again, and we'll see you again soon on Locked On Ole Miss.